Hey, in this episode I would like to show you how to create CMS slider with Webflow and WeBlocks. So this slider is based on collection list, which we have in Webflow. In Webflow we have a collection list and we can edit it here. We can add new elements in collection list and it will be moved to our slider automatically. This slider is also draggable with the hover animation. It has an arrows which can change the slides and a pagination. And all of that is built in Webflow and WeBlocks, where we are adding a JavaScript for a slider. And firstly, I would like to show you how to create this slider in Webflow. So the first element which we need is a collection list, because this is element which will be connected with our slider. So all the slider will be based on collection list. Okay, I'm connecting it with the themes. It's a collection which I had before this video, and I have 6 elements in a collection list themes. And I need to add 3 classes for the collection list wrapper, collection list, and collection item. And these classes I will call, in this example, slider wrapper, slider list, and slider item. And it's very important to add these 3 classes because later we will use these 3 classes to connect Webflow with WeBlocks. Okay, and right now I'm adding to the slider list layout flex, and this way we have the horizontal view for the items. Right now in slider item I will add with 30 viewport width and 40 viewport width for the height. And right now these elements are still not have the 30 viewport width, so I have to add it flex don't shrink, and this way they will grow. But what is happening is that if I'll scroll to the right, these elements are here and our website is moving. We don't want to have this, so in a section which is above the slider, I will add a combo class slider section, and I will add overflow hidden. So what is the overflow hidden is doing? It's cutting everything what is outside of this box. So everything what is outside of the slider section is cut because we have overflow hidden. Okay, next thing, I will add some margin for this item, and I will add it a border. I will add it a border, and I will add a heading, for example, heading 2 to the element. Okay, so we have it this way. I will publish it and just to check how it looks. Okay, and after refresh, we have something what looks this way. So we have collection lists which have the items which are just next to each other. And right now in a WeBlocks, I add a block which is inside of the animation section, and it's CMS slider. When I drag and drop this block, you can see that we have 3 elements: slider wrapper, slider list, and slider item. And it's exactly the same what I had here in a collection list. So I have slider wrapper, slider list, and slider item. And that's very important to have the synchronization between these 3 elements in Webflow and WeBlocks. And right now I will connect WeBlocks with Webflow using this Webflow connect script. So I will copy it and I will paste it to the footer in a body tag. And normally it would be everything for the connection, but in this example for the CMS slider we have also here the information about the library. So I copy this information and I will paste it just here. And we have the info that add library before code. So it's very important to add these libraries before code. It means that these have to be above the code. So program will first read library and next script. And CSS we can add to the head. It's recommended to add always CSS in a head and JavaScript in a footer. So we will do it exactly this way. Okay, right now I can save this and I can publish. I can publish our page with WeBlocks connection. And when I refresh, this is automatically a slider because we added this WeBlocks part, which is connected with Webflow, and it makes our slider. So right now in the next step, I will add arrows, I will add paginations, and I will add these images. Okay, let's start with the arrows. So the first thing, inside of this section header div, I will add one more div, and I will call it slider navigation wrapper. Next thing, our section header needs to have a flex layout, and it can be horizontal and to the bottom. Next thing, our slider navigation wrapper will have 32 or maybe 40 pixels from the left, and I will add an image with the arrow left, which I have just added before this video. Okay, and I will call it slider navigation. Slider navigation, and here I will add the same class. Okay, we can see that there is a space here, so to remove it, I will call it section title, and I will add margin bottom 0. Okay, right now I will add a hover for this slider navigation, and for the hover I will make it opacity 70%, and I will add an transition for the opacity, and this element doesn't have a cursor, so I will trigger it for the cursor pointer. And right now when I will publish it, okay, I also need to add these classes because we have a class next slide for the element which is navigation next. So this needs a combo class next slide, and this needs a priv slide. Okay, I will add 16 from the margin right, and I can add this slider navigation also 4 pixels to the top to make it exactly perfect with this text. Okay, let's publish. And right now I can move this slider with these custom arrows. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next step. It's pagination. And in our WeBlocks, we have a pagination with a type bullets, and the wrapper has a class pagination. So right now, what we need to do in a Webflow is just to add a div which has a class pagination. And for this element, I can add also 40 pixels from the right. Okay, let's see how it looks. When I refresh, we have a pagination, but I can almost not see it, and that's because it's gray on default. And we can edit this here in the styles. So we have a style, add CSS for pagination bullet, and I can edit background from gray to white. And right now we have beautiful white pagination. Okay, perfect. So we have arrows, we have pagination. So right now I will focus on these slider items. Okay, first thing which we should always add in a slider item, if we want to make it move to the item page, is a link. So it's a link block which will be connected with this collection list subpage, and this link block has, for example, class slide link block. It will have width 100% and height 100%, and I can move this inside of it. Okay, right now I have to set the font color for this, and it will be white, and I will remove this line using this decoration block. Okay, next thing, I will add an image, and to make it look like that and to make it grow on a hover, I will have to use position absolute and position relative. And right now, if I will add for the slide link block, which is parent of this image, position relative, and I will add for this image position absolute and make it full and 100% width, 100% height. I'll move it to the collection list image. Okay, and I will set fit cover. Okay, perfect. Right now, to take this text above the image, I will create one more div which will have a slide content. I will put this heading inside of this, and if I will make it relative, it goes above image, which is absolute. And right now I can, to make it like it's here, I will take this slide link block, I will set layout flex to the bottom, and in the slide content I will set width 100%, I will set background white, color black, and for the link block, which is parent of this, I will set a padding, for example 24, and for the slide content padding, let's make it 24 too, and this will be slide title, which has a margin bottom 0. Okay, let's take a look on that. Okay, it has also more height, and it has a go to profile text on the bottom. So to add it, I will add a text go to profile. I will set, for example, height 140 pixels, and to take it to the both sides, I need to change the layout flex and make it vertical, justify space between. Right now I can make it a little bit smaller, for example 24, and normal font weight. Okay, perfect. Let's publish it and let's check how it looks. Okay, right now when I will refresh, we have the slider with the images. And to make it look like this, the last thing which I need to change is also the animation which we have on this slider. Okay, so to change the animation, I will use also WeBlocks, and animations which are related to the slider should be added here inside of the set styles. So the first animation will be triggered on mouse over. So this is the trigger, which is in a basic. We have mouse over into, and we want to mouse over slider item. Okay, so when we slide over slider item, I want to make image. I can rename this class to slide image. Okay, I will copy it. I will republish the page. And on this mouse over, I want to set CSS. I will delete it and I will use custom CSS property, transform, translate, scale 1.1 to the class slide image, and on mouse out I want to set scale just 1. Okay, I refresh and it looks like that. It's still not exactly what we want. The first thing, it's growing differently than here, and that's because we should add for the slider item an overflow hidden. So overflow hidden is cutting everything what grows outside of the element. Let's check how it will look if we add this overflow hidden. Okay, so it looks like that, but still, if I hover, all the images are growing. And to make the grow only this one element, which is child of this block, which is hovered, I need to take this block and use the class children. So, and we will do it this way. If we have element which is child of this, and this means that it's child of this slider item, then it's only and only then if it's a child, then it's transforming with the scale, and exactly the same here. And right now, when I will refresh, only this one element is growing, but we still need to add a transition because right now it's jumping. So transition we can add here in the WeBlocks. We can add transition also in a Webflow, but in this example, let's just add it here in a WeBlocks. So I will add transition 0.2 second to slide image, and the transition will be for transform. Okay, and right now when I will refresh, we have the animation with the transition. In this element, in this example, we had also a transition for this block, so let's make it. Let's add an opacity for slide content. So first thing, I will add set CSS opacity 0.8 to the slide content, which is child of this, of slide item, and exactly the same for mouse out, opacity 1. And we also need to remember about a transition for opacity. It can be 0.2 second, and it will be for a slide content. Okay, right now when I will refresh, we have animation for image and for this box with the opacity. Okay, and I think that's everything what is related to the sliders. I think that very soon I will create a little bit more tutorials, maybe 1 or 2 about the sliders which has a pagination fraction, and I will also add a pagination with a progress bar. So very soon there will be more videos about sliders, and if you like this one, you can hit the like button or consider subscribing this channel to be notified about the new videos which are about Webflow, WeBlocks, and creating design for websites. Thank you very much. See you soon.